Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Warbound podcast. Today, I'm joined by my lovely host,
Leo!
and we're going to be talking about the origins of the Grey Knights. Are you excited, honey?
Yes, I'm excited.
Oh, yeah!
Yeah!
So, before we get into talking about these, badass demon hunters, you want to do some small talk?
Oh, Warhammer News.
And our new segment, Warhammer News. Which one do you want to do first?
Warhammer News.
Okay, so in terms of Warhammer News, there was one thing I was reading this morning that was actually pretty exciting. It's about this new kill team thing, called this thing released called Kill Team Shadow Hunt, where you get to face death itself when the Nightbringer rises from its tomb. And from what it looked like to me, it's basically like some kind of game mode where you play kill team, but you're fighting like almost like a boss fight against Catan Shard. Oh lordy!
What a great start.
What a great! Why did my throat get itchy all of a sudden? What happened? I think I need water or something.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Pause.
But yeah, whether you play the Joint Ops or Adversary Ops mission pack in Kill Team Shadow Hunt, you'll end up stuck in a dark room with a rather miffed Nightbringer. You might be commanding a crack team of elite operatives, but even they have their limits, and ending the Star God's rampage before it begins isn't really in the cards.
Oh, is it like an addition to a game?
Yeah. Instead, you'll want to hightail it out of there, and with any luck, a tank battalion will be around to level its entire postcode. So, by the sound of it, the mission is basically you're not fighting the Catan Shard so much as trying to escape it. Because Kill Team operates by missions, right? Yeah. Mission types. And this mission type, you get to run away from this huge boss before you die. Because there's no way that they can kill a Catan.
Right. Okay.
Which I thought was cool, you know.
What game is it from?
Kill Team. Warhammer Kill Team, honey. The small one with the elite operatives.
Yeah, I knew that.
Yeah, embarrassing.
I knew that.
There's also been a bunch of model reveals, which have been fun over the past, little bit for the holidays. I'm gonna make a video on it pretty soon. Harkin and his, Red Corsairs got released, and a bunch of other stuff like that. There's a new Night Lord's kill team. I like the look of it, but I still want the other one more. To be honest, the first Night Lord's kill team. This new Night Lord's kill team, they all have, special weapons and claws and jetpacks. So in the kill team, they, jump around and have hypermobility and everything. Yeah. Which sounds really fun. I'll probably wind up picking both. There's also a new Sisters of Battle kill team.
Really?
Yeah.
There's already another one?
I'm pretty sure, all the factions have a kill team somehow.
Oh. So you could have gone and Sisters of Battle?
Kill team? Yeah. Well, it just came out. I don't even think it's ready to order yet. When it's out, I'll get it for you. I'll get the pack so that I can get the Night Lord and you can get the Sisters Battle. Oh, yeah. Okay. Next time we do this segment, I'll set it up somehow to where, in order to show you the image, I have to turn the whole camera, and I don't want to have to be doing that all the time. It also, all the cords connected to the setup and everything. I don't want to have to do that.
Do you have a camera to yourself?
No, I didn't. The angles were bad, and it would still be connected to the computer. So,
is it on or no?
Yes, honey. What I'm saying is to show you the screen of the computer, I'd have to turn it. You're really awake today, aren't you? Woo! You done? You got any small talk?
I made some Spider-Man.
Oh, you crocheted some more Spider-Man, guys?
From last time.
Yeah. But you already gave them off to sell, right?
Yeah.
Nice. And then, let's see. What have I been doing lately? This isn't so much a hobby thing, but I just started recording a new Total War thing, Total War video that I'm going to make with my buddy, where I'm playing Malachi McKyson, and my other buddy is playing Akit Claw. And we have to, eventually meet and see who wins. Who gets knocked off the campaign first. There's going to be a lot of hours of footage just because of how Total War works, It's a longer game. But it's pretty fun.
Total War?
Total War. Yeah. We should set up your computer so you can play with me. You can try out Draco or something.
I should.
I'm watching you. Okay, but is that all for small talk?
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
a fun small talk.
We haven't been doing much, honestly. Just been working away.
I want to start crocheting, but I don't have to create yarn.
Yeah, for the thing you want to
even
do.
close to ones. I want to do Bluey and Stitch keychains, but
Is there any other character that you can do at all with your?
Baby Yoda.
Start making Baby Yoda.
Yeah, I'm gonna do Baby Yoda.
At least fill the time so you can keep practicing.
Mm-hmm.
You're already pretty good, but like it's good to keep doing it. Woo! Woo!
Sorry, we're like sleepy.
Yeah,
I think it's the sugar that we have.
Yeah,
the
we
drink.
just ate. We just yeah, I ate the drink entirely. We just drank a sugary drink, and like I wasn't expecting my drink to be so sugary, and you weren't either. It's just from this coffee shop. It's a good coffee shop. Don't get me wrong. So I ordered a chai, and I was expecting chai, like a tea, and I got like a sugary foam that was like almost half the cup, and I was trying to drink.
The chai tasted like peppermint.
It was the foam that overpowered all the flavor, and the little like sugary candies that they put on the top. Like those were the really peppermint thing that you were tasting, and that isn't genuine peppermint. Like that wasn't good peppermint. It's just it was close to it,
Yeah.
and it overpowered the actual chai flavor, and it was so sugary that like it's like knocking me out right now. Like I need like water because I can feel it like trying to get out of my system. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But don't worry, guys. This is gonna be a epic podcast.
We're still on. Release me.
You ready? You excited to learn about Grey Knights?
Yeah, cause you like them.
Yeah, I love Grey Knights. They're one of my favorites. And one of these days they'll get an update. I swear, an update to their models. We'll get a whole range refresh,
One of
and
these days.
everybody's gonna love us. It's
Mm.
only been like 20 years.
They should definitely update them.
Games Workshop has not forgotten about us, I swear.
Oh, I moved the camera. What?
So, what do you know about Grey Knights right now?
That the models are old fashioned.
Right. Anything else about them?
Nope.
There's literally nothing else you know about the Grey Knight? No? Nada?
No, not that I can remember of right now.
Yeah. So right now you just know that their models are old.
Yeah.
Boy, we have a lot to teach you.
You probably tell me more stuff, but
I feel like I've talked about it while you were there, but not like directly to you. I've never like sat you down and talked about Grey Knights.
The one thing you have complained or talk to me is about the models.
Yeah.
Compared to all the models, they're like shrink down and like.
I love them. I really do. Like I really do have a lot of love for their models. It's just really it's a tough pill to swallow. Of like, hey, you want to spend like $800 on an army that doesn't look good or up to date in comparison to any other army in the tabletop? You know what I mean? Like that's a rough sell.
Look at my Stitch, guys. I got cold.
And people always say just kit bash it, you know what I mean? Just make your own like upgraded Grey Knights, but that takes work and time. They're like, I don't want to have to put in. You know what I mean? Just update the models is my point.
We're reprinting a lot for the damn models.
Exactly. Like you're gonna have to be paying. Maybe you kind of save money. Maybe you actually wind up spending more money trying to upgrade them. However you figure it out, whether it's through 3D printing or whatever. I don't know. I just want my army to be updated. Yeah. But anyway, complaining about the models aside, the lore is epic.
Alright, amuse me.
All right, so we're gonna talk about the history of the Grey Knights, how they were founded, what they did, after their founding, what was their main missions, what big like things like defined who they are, and what big operations defined who they are, and leading up all the way basically up to modern 40K, and then, then we'll kind of end right there, and we can get into the rest of the amazing characters that exist in the Grey Knights right now, currently in the current setting.
Okay.
After we build your foundation in today's episode, learning about where they came from.
Bless.
Oh, yeah. So let me just talk real quick before I get into my notes here about the history of the Grey Knights and what they were doing with their founding and everything. Let me just give you a basic vibe. These guys right here are Grey Knights. And they are Space Marines, but hyper elite Space Marines. Their organization is secret. Other Space Marines don't know about their existence, really. what was I saying? So the thing about Grey Knights is that it takes a very, very, very special person to be a Grey Knight. So if, let's just for argument's sake say that 1 in 100,000 people can be a Space Marine, or 1 in 1 million people can be a Space Marine. 1 in 10 million can be a Grey Knight. You have to be a very, very specific person. One, you need to be a Psyker on top of being a person who can become a Space Marine. You know, which already, like, Psykerness aside, you already need to have a very specific, like fortitude and genetics and everything to be able to have a chance of surviving the creation of becoming a Space Marine. And to be a Grey Knight, you have to have all of that and also be a talented psyker with immense potential. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, very, very specific person. Very, very strong and valuable person. Usually they recruit from children brought on these things called black ships. So the black ships are ships sent from Terra to explore the galaxy and essentially gather psychers to either send off to be trained or send off to be sacrificed to the Emperor. Right? So they gather like any people who are psychers, especially young people who are psychers, right? And a lot of the times Grey Knights will go to these black ships before they are sent to Terra for their whole processing, you know what I mean, of whether or not they're going to be trained, sacrificed, this, that, whatever, right? And Grey Knights will observe and see someone with potential of becoming a Grey Knight, and then they'll take them. And the thing about the Grey Knight training process is that's way more intense than normal Space Marine training processes, because they have to, on top of everything that Space Marines usually do, they need to be trained to be ready to face the worst of the worst of the worst, which is demons. Grey Knights are specifically created and employed to hunt demons. That is the only thing that they care about at all times. They exist to thwart the forces of chaos. And so they need to be mentally prepared and brainwashed completely to forget everything about their past. And when you're recruited as a Grey Knight and you become a Grey Knight, you don't have a name anymore. You're given a name, usually from something like mythology or ancient myth, like Titus, or sorry, not Titus, Titan, or Zeus, or something like that, like an ancient name, of some kind, and it's basically your code name becomes your only name, and yeah, psyker training is also really intense because every single time you pull power from the warp, you are also risking the warp looking at you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, imagine to get this power, you have to reach into hell for a second, but, like, hell can see you. You know what I mean? Like, they know that you're doing it, So you have to be mentally prepared for the attack that's about to happen.
Mentally?
Mentally and spiritually, psychically prepared for what you're about to do. Because they have to take power from this place, but there's also things in there that want to kill you, like, instantaneously, So they need to be spiritually prepared to handle that. And because they're Grey Knights, because they're such powerful psychers, they're going to be taking a lot of power from the warp, right? That means that people are going to notice. Imagine every time a psyker does something in the warp, depending on how much they draw from it, right? Like, there's a light that turns on, and the more powerful you are in terms of psychic power, the brighter the light. So the more things notice. You get what I'm saying?
When they're like, just chilling, you just,
No, literally. So, like, the demons will be playing cards, you know what I mean? And then, like, a Grey Knight will be training and, like, pulling from the power, and they'll... like,
attack!
Because they just see it, So they have to prepare their Grey Knights to be able to handle that. And also, demons are going to especially notice Grey Knights because Grey Knights are solely created to kill them.
Yeah.
So here's one thing. You might say to yourself, well, a lot of things fight demons all the time. What makes Grey Knights so special? Well, Grey Knights study everything that has to do with demons. Any artifact with a demon trapped in it, any person, like, possessed, any demon that they're hunting, they study everything, every secret that other people can't handle. Other people go insane finding, you know what I mean?
So not every Space Marine...
No.
Know the knowledge that the Grey
No,
Knights...
No, not at all. Not many people at all understand the things that the Grey Knights understand about chaos and the warp. Because of the things you have to go through to find these answers, and the depths that you have to search and explore to find these answers. Yeah, exactly. Like, they do actually have cursed books, you know what I mean? One of the Grey Knights that is active in 40k right now has a sword that has a soul of a demon trapped in it, and he's the only one that's entrusted to use it because the sword constantly whispers temptations in your ears to try and get you to turn. Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah.
And he's the only one with a soul and mind strong enough to resist it.
So like a pure soul.
Yeah, exactly. They're actually called purifiers. That's like the name of his group,
I
and
see him
they're placed specifically to guard ancient demonic artifacts and study them because they're the only like okay, they're not the only ones, but they're specifically trained to be in the vicinity of these things all the time and be listening and like warding off the thoughts and the whispers that these things are constantly trying to do. Because you have to understand, a normal human cannot handle this like at all.
Yeah.
Most space marines can't handle this. You know, like demonic artifacts of the power and extent that Grey Knights are encountering at most of the time would kill or affect most space marines gravely. You know, but Grey Knights, that's all they exist for. You know, so that's what they train for. And Grey Knights do cool things like find the real name of a demon, because the second you have the real name of the demon, you have strength over it and can banish it. They are trying to find any and all ways to kill demons permanently, which is not a normal thing. There are a few weapons in the galaxy that can do it, but they're extremely rare.
But there are some out there, right?
But there are some out there, and Grey Knights are constantly trying to find new ways to permanently put down demons.
Do they have some of the artifacts
that can kill demons permanently? I'm not sure. I don't think that they do.
Oh,
I don't think they do. But
who made them? How do they know they exist?
I don't. Let me see if Grey Knights. I know that there's a couple things that like came up that could like put down perpetuals permanently and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Grey Knights have weapons that kill demon?
Permanently.
Question mark.
Question mark. Bus. Wanna that drink?
They do, right? They do. Yes, Grey Knights possess weapons and psychic abilities. Primarily, they're Nemesis Force weapons, and well, Nemesis Force weapons don't necessarily. So, these are psychically tuned blades, hammers, and other weapons that channel the Grey Knight's own psychic power, becoming devastating against warp entities. They have the Holocaust ritual, a specific powerful psychic ritual that Grey Knights can perform, often in conjunction with their weapons, to completely annihilate a demon's soul. So they have ritual. You gotta understand that these guys, like more so than like most Space Marines, these are like full-on wizards. You know what I mean? Like they have like books with runes flying out of them, and they're like saying ancient prayers, you know, and writing things in languages you don't understand. And their weapons are all like shining with lightning, because all of their weapons, everything that a Grey Knight wears, is specifically created to handle their psychic resonance. You know, so imagine they have like a vibration, right, that they operate at, and their weapons attuned to said vibration, and their psychic powers start getting combined with everything.
They're not religious, right?
Not necessarily. I mean, how do you define religious? You know what I mean?
True.
Like, I don't know if most Grey Knights, or if it's even really a thing for Grey Knights to worship the Emperor as a god. Some Space Marine chapters do it, but here. These questions are great because you're making me like remember things. Yes, the Grey Knights do treat the Emperor as a divine being, essentially a god. So they do the Grey Knight doctrine. They are indoctrinated to be the Emperor's personal force, fighting the warp's evils. While they reject the false gods of chaos, their veneration of the Emperor is so profound that it functions as worship. So there's a weird gray line, right, where people look up to the Emperor so much that it essentially they are worshiping him as a god. But it doesn't mean that they say, yes, 100%, he is one of the gods in the warp. You know what I mean?
You know, it's interesting. They're reading books, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my question just flew away.
Oh, your question just escaped you?
Well, it's just about the books. The books came from somewhere. Where did they find those books?
What do you mean? You mean demonic artifacts?
No, the one also came from the warp.
Mm-hmm.
But the books, where did they find this knowledge?
Oh, the books that they're like casting spells from and everything, they have their own. They don't need necessarily the book to be able to cast a psychic ability, but they gather information. Like what I was giving you was a visual. You know what I mean? Okay. Like that. This is something that some of them can do, but like if you look at their armor and everything, they have like their pauldrons have languages like written in them, like all over the place, and like there's little scripture like written all over their armor.
Like books around them.
Books are taped. All of that is prayer and scripture and holy artifacts and things to ward off demons. They have this thing where Grey Knights will get they'll get like wards against demons like etched into their bones.
Remove the camera.
Did you hear me?
Whoa.
I said that Grey Knights will get this operation done that they'll have wards, like things that ward off demons, etched into their bones. Like as a part of all the surgeries that they do to make them space marines, they'll start etching.
Reading.
Yeah, like so imagine essentially like almost like Bible like verses, like being scraped into your bone structure, so that you are in every way possible as resistant. Yes, you are as resistant to a demon as we can physically make something.
Imagine when they taste you, like, oh.
No, literally, like they hate them. Like demons hate Grey Knights, and Grey Knights hate demons very, very, very much. They are designed from the ground up to include their bones to counter demons in every single way possible. Mm-hmm. As far as other affairs go, they don't really care. But yeah, so they take aspirants from the black ships, possible Psyker children. They put them through the most grueling tasks that you could possibly imagine, even worse than most Space Marine chapters, if not any of them, and force them to become the greatest Psykers that they couldn't possibly fathom, and the best of the best for Space Marines. Like these. So you remember I told you about the Custodies a little bit, the golden guys that protect the Emperor. Yeah. We haven't delved into their faction. I haven't taught you about them yet. But the Custodies are the pinnacle. They are they are the best that you can make a human being. Yeah. They are the best that you can turn a human being into. Okay? Mm-hmm. Space Marines are really, really powerful, but they're kind of like Frankenstein monsters. You know what I mean? They're cheap. Like, okay, cheap isn't the right word. They're cheaper than a Custodes, which for most of them the Emperor made them himself. You know what I mean? Space Marines are replicatable machines of war, you know, that we can use to fight certain things, and Space Marines can basically fight anything of like any threat size, right? Mm-hmm. Eventually you can send enough Space Marines to face something and they'll be able to kill it, right? The same doesn't apply for humans or things like that, right? Grey Knights land in between the power gap in between a Custodes and a Space Marine. So the power ranking, like, this is the easiest way to show you. Human being, right here. Right? Yeah. Space Marine, up here. Yeah. Way more powerful than one human being. Even the most average Space Marine ever would punk any human being, right? Yeah. But then their Custodes have the same amount of a gap between humans and Space Marines. Custodes would beat the shit out of any Space Marine ever, right? Yeah. Then Grey Knights, so like right here, somewhere in between them, you know? It's not. I'm not saying a Grey Knight's gonna take a Custodes on in 1v1. I'm just saying that Grey Knights are obviously a cut above normal Space Marines. You got what I'm saying? Yeah. They fight in the sense that Space Marines do. They fight like a pack, you know? Mm-hmm. But the thing is, they're all master Psykers, which is such a huge power boost that it's not even funny. And all of their weaponry is enhanced by the stronger Psyker that they are, you know? So their weapons get stronger the stronger that their soul is, you know? Yeah. It's just a whole, like, duplicative thing and multiplicative thing.
So the whole purpose is to just fight, keep the demons control?
Yep. Fight the demons, find any way to kill demons, find any way to fight back against the warp, and stop chaos from growing.
Every time I think about the demons, when they're practicing, take up a piece of the warp to gain power. Yeah. I just think of the demons, so you gotta cards anywhere? Any money?
Yeah. Wow. As soon as they see the light, yeah. Let's see here. Oh, here's an interesting bit. During training, each Grey Knight recruit is designated a number to be referred by, and only upon completion of training they are given a new name. They must discard their original birth name and be given a new one. This is in part to signify being reborn, but also in part because the training a recruit undergoes is so intense that they are unlikely to remember their past and original name anyway. So they are put through something so rigorous, and their mind...
Yes.
And their mind is reforged in such an intense way that they forget who they were before the training. Furthermore, each Grey Knight's name is actually a fragment of magical lore that acts in perfect opposition to the true name of a particular demon, making even a Grey Knight's name a deadly weapon. So they name Grey Knights so they're according to like magical lore and everything. There's a demon's name which grants them power, and then on the other side of the dial, there's a name that is so opposite to it that speaking it also hurts a demon, right?
Damn, the Grey Knights like, power.
So
how can I know you the
most?
And
so even if they don't know the true name of the demon, they know that this name counters a demon somewhere, somehow, right? So they name them that, and it's like, if you meet that demon, they're gonna be really fucking pissed when we say this name. Because, so, like, if a normal human said these names, they don't matter, right? But when a psyker who knows exactly what he's doing speaks these names with psychic intent, it hurts demons. You know, you get what I'm saying?
This sounds cool.
Their bones are weapons against demons. Their bullets. Here's something about Grey Knights. I haven't gone to their origins. Bullets. I know. I'm just kind of setting them up for you and describing how fucking cool they are. Every single Grey Knight bullet and firearm has scriptures ingrained in them too. You know what I mean? And bullets have prayers like in them, so that they are also holy artifacts. And every bullet that a Grey Knight fires has been prayed over, like in churches as it's being sent. So, like, literally everything that a Grey Knight does, everything that a Grey Knight owns, everything that a Grey Knight is given, is specifically made to make demons hurt as bad as possible.
So the bullet has been blessed.
All their weaponry has been blessed, and it's blessed regularly, like all the time, you know? These guys are intense. They have one job, and they do it very well. Demons hate it. Exactly.
Every time they get each other, like, oh.
Here's another thing that makes them really important, and a big reason why there's Space Marines and then there's Grey Knights. Every Space Marine gets something called Gene Seed. Remember? The Gene Seed is taken from the Primarch, and that gives them certain qualities and benefits and takeaways, because the Primarchs also have flaws, genetic flaws, and that can be passed to their son, like Sanguinius in the Curse that he gave his sons. That was a genetic flaw that Sanguinius had, and all the Blood Angels, like, received that. The Grey Knights are unique amongst the Astartes in that their Gene Seed isn't derived from one of the Emperor's 20 Primarchs, but instead, their genetic progenitor is none other than the Emperor himself. So the Emperor's Gene Seed, he took his own genetic code and made the Grey Knight Gene Seed. So the Grey Knights are not the sons of any of the Primarchs. They're directly sons of the Emperor.
And they still haven't got it remade.
I know. Thus, the Grey Knights refer to their implantations as the Emperor's gift, something outsiders sometimes consider a jest or symbolic statement as opposed to a literal one. But it is very, very literal. The Emperor gifted them his own genetic code, which in turn gives them an enhancement of their own psychic powers, because the Emperor was such an immense psyker.
So, like, what was the other guy's name? The one from the blood.
Sanguinius?
Sanguinius. I can't say his name right. Sanguinius.
Sangini. Sangi.
Sangi. How he was literally so pure and literally.
Right.
He gives his own part of his genes. And that's what they're. Damn. Okay. I'm sorry, my brains are going all over.
No, I get it. You just absorb it however you need to absorb it. Yeah, but the Emperor gifted them his own genetic code to make them even more powerful psychers.
Oh, damn.
Because the Emperor is easily the strongest psyker we've ever seen. So you gotta imagine that these are special psychers, and the Emperor's own psychic genetics are also enhancing them so much more. These guys are crazy. Like, they are not...
The Emperor was smart with doing that. He's like, how can I have someone under me that can defeat them? While I'm somewhere else.
You have to... Again, they were designed specifically because chaos is such a problem. The warp is such a problem, and the demons are such a problem, that we need something that is dedicated to only taking care of them and specializes entirely in this. So we have somebody working on trying to find the solution.
So while the other Space Marines, other chapters, they're working on other things around the universe, dealing with them on other planets.
Yep. Each chapter specializes in something in their region. Yeah. They guard a specific star system. Yeah.
So they're all spread around, but they're targeting one certain thing so it doesn't get out of control.
Right. The Grey Knights, meanwhile, are sent anywhere and everywhere, but they only have one enemy.
Purpose,
One purpose. Chaos. They don't care about aliens. They don't care about none of that. They won't even stay in a battle. and waste any of their resources on anything that isn't a demon, because that's not the point of it. You know, imagine firing, like, you gotta imagine that a Grey Knight's magazine of like their gun is way too valuable to be spending on something random, you know, like, unless it's absolutely necessary in the moment. They're not gonna spend their blessed holy bullets on something that isn't a demon, because it's no the effectiveness that the blessing adds is it doesn't exist against something that isn't a demon. It's only meant to be used on demons. So why would they be there? Why would they be wasting resources, or even worse, Grey Knight life? Because, like, one Grey Knight is way more valuable than a single Space Marine from a normal chapter, you know, because you gotta imagine it's so much harder to find recruits. And the Emperor's Gene Seed, like, imagine losing the Emperor's Gene Seed. Like, losing a Primarch's Gene Seed is really, really bad for any chapter. That's, like, the biggest loss you could take. But imagine the Grey Knights losing the Emperor's Gift. You're losing a piece of the Emperor. That's a big deal.
Do they ever get their numbers back?
What do you mean? Yes, they can recruit. They can, like, again, they can just recruit. They can recruit Psychers from the Black Ships. They have recruitment methods, you know, and they're continually doing that. But it's a much harder process to make a Grey Knight, you know, than your average Space Marine. So it's a bigger loss when you lose certain Grey Knights, you know, or any Grey Knights. But yeah, so they, I think the ships and the space stuff, and like how they organize their fortress and everything, we can talk about during their history. But do you have any questions about what I just told you?
No.
Yeah?
Pretty answered.
Are you interested now?
Yeah.
They're hyped. Like, they're so hyped. They're so cool, you know?
Yeah.
Like, one thing I love about Warhammer in general is that they'll take a concept and then dial it up to 11, like, every single time, you know? And they were like, Daemon Hunter. And it's like, yeah, write scripture into their bones. You know, like, they just take it and dial it all the way that they possibly can.
And how the demons are like,
Yeah.
Has there been demons that have fallen because of them?
Grey Knights have fought in Primarchs. Chaos Primarchs, Demon Primarchs. They fought Angron and banished him.
Who's Angron?
The massive demon with 2 wings. War leaders.
They banished him? Yes. But he's not dead?
No. Okay, so let's get into the origins.
Okay.
They were founded in the final days of the Horus Heresy as a secret project of the Emperor foreseeing his own incapacitation. So, while the Horus Heresy was coming to a close, the Emperor and Malcador, his right-hand man, saw what was coming. The Emperor felt like the end was near, you know, and just in case something went wrong, aka him being put on the Golden Throne and becoming a corpse, you know, just like with a bunch of cables hooked into him. He foresaw that this could be a thing, and he needed somebody to continue the fight against Chaos if he was put out of the fight physically. Malcador the Sigillite was tasked with finding the individuals capable of bearing the burden of fighting Chaos. So one thing, the Imperium keeps Chaos mostly a secret. Like, the average person living on your average world doesn't know about Chaos. They don't know about demons. They don't know about Khorne, Tzeentch. They don't know about any of this, right?
About the fake demons?
Right, because they're kept a secret because there was a belief that the Emperor had that if you didn't know about it, you couldn't worship it or give it energy.
Yeah, makes sense.
Which makes sense, kind of. It doesn't really work very well, you know, as you would find out during the Horus Heresy, but whatever. That's what makes sense. And now the Inquisition and a lot of organizations in the Imperium operate under that same, you know, thing, where they control the information flow and you only know what you need to know, you know. And chaos and demons and all of that, for the most part, you don't need to know that, you know. So Malcador had to find very special Space Marines who could handle the lifelong burden of fighting hell at all times. Because you know how Grey Knights are made to be perfect weapons of demons? Another thing that makes it really difficult to be a Grey Knight, like I was kind of alluding to, is that you have to be fighting demons. Like, demons all the time. Yeah. The worst of the worst malignant energy in the universe. You have to swamp yourself in it for your entire existence.
They're not pretty. They don't act.
Right. No, they're literally the worst entities in existence. And you have to study them, you have to know them inside and out, you have to search for them, you have to fight them, you have to interrogate them, you have to do horrific exorcisms, you have to hunt them, you know, like, you have to know everything you can about these creatures, you know, and in return, they learn about you. You know what I mean? That's not an easy job, which is why the average Space Marine can't do it, you know? Space Marines aren't made to hunt demons. That's why they need Grey Knights, you know? And so 12 champions were chosen. 4 human lords, which would be essentially administrators, which would go later on to found the Inquisition, right, for the Imperium, a very, very strong thing that we'll get into later. And 8 loyalist space marines. That would it also include members of legions who had betrayed the Emperor, but these men remained loyal because of their love for the Imperium and the Emperor. So this proved them holy enough or pure enough to become Grey Knights. The 8 Space Marines would ultimately become the first Grey Knights in existence. They would be known as Janus, Epimetheus, Chiron, Koios, Ogan, Lapto, Uten, and Satre. And they would have identities and names before this, but they would be completely erased from Imperial history. So that only they would be reborn as the new Grey Knights. And this is where that tradition comes in, you know. And all of these names, as you can imagine, are magical names that specifically counter a demon. So this isn't how they word it in lore, but to make it really simple, there's a demon name and there's an angel name. One counters the other. Yeah, you know what I mean? So their true identities would be erased, and the Emperor would personally approve the project and also wind up giving them his own gene seed. The chapter would be officially founded with these 8 Space Marines and 4 administrators by Malcador, and they would be sent to a moon called Titan. So you know Saturn, the planet in our own solar system? It has a bunch of moons flying around, right? And one of those moons is Titan. Malcador would be prepared with a fortress monastery, with gene seed from the Emperor, with weapons, supplies, and a bunch of recruits that would begin their Grey Knight training immediately. Hundreds upon hundreds of recruits prepared by Malcador. Because you gotta imagine, like, Malcador is the Emperor's best friend, and the Emperor trusted him with basically everything, you know? So this guy has all the resources of the Imperium, you know, and the Emperor said, do this. You know, so the resources started moving fast, and people, like, it got done, right?
Damn, okay.
And Malcador is not mentioned in my notes somehow. Okay, I did write down, thank God. Malcador would appoint Janus, one of the first Grey Knights, right? One of the first 8 Grey Knights, as the first Grand Master. So instead of a chapter master, you know how chapters are organized, there's a chapter master that leads them. Dante is the current chapter master of the Blood Angels. Well, the Grey Knights name it a little bit different. He would be called the first Supreme Grand Master. So, the leader of the Grey Knights. Titan would then, by Malcador himself, since he was a super, super powerful psyker, Malcador would take the entire moon and hide it into a dimension in the warp. So he, like, created a rift in reality and created a pocket dimension for the Fortress of the Grey Knights and moved an entire moon into the warp with his psychic powers. Yeah, so the Grey Knights have their own dimension in the warp where they can safely train and deploy from. Yeah.
Okay.
It would be hidden inside the warp using immensely powerful sorcery and protected by Gellerfjords, which is essentially a technology to keep it really simple to ward off demons. You know, so to allow safe travel through the warp. Gellerfjords are usually implemented into ships, but Malcador had very special Gellerfjords implemented so that they could be constantly protected and hidden away in the warp from demons and people in the real space. You know what I mean? So Titan's a very, very well defended thing. While in the warp, time passes really rapidly, so it would allow for the full creation of a 1,000+ strong chapter in very, very little time. So time is different in the warp, right? So 100 years here might be 10 seconds in here. You know what I mean? Like, just depending on how it goes. So you gotta imagine they're, like, moved secretly into the warp, and then they just come out a full chapter very, very shortly after. But this entire time they've been training and training and training and training for hundreds of years to have a full chapter, essentially. So pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
Titan would be then removed from this, like, secret dimension, you know, during the second founding. So Horus Heresy ends, the Imperium survives, and Space Marines are broken from their original tens of thousands of legion, like legionnaire strong legions, into smaller chapters. Yeah. And they're broken apart. Grey Knights would come in during this time, and they would be secretly designated the 666th chapter. So their chapter is 666. Their chapter number, just a silly, you know, thing, right? And they would become the chamber militant of the Ordo Malleus. So during the second founding, during this time, the Inquisition is founded, right? And the Inquisition is secretly, like, the shadowy, like, CIA police force of the Imperium. They watch over everything. And Inquisitors are immensely powerful people who can command basically anything, like lower ranking than like a high ranking Space Marine or something. You know? They technically have command over Space Marine chapters, right? In terms of like the pecking order of Imperial things, right? But like an Inquisitor isn't stupid, and they're not gonna piss off a Space Marine chapter, because like some Inquisitors go missing sometimes. you know what I mean? Yeah, no, like if an Inquisitor like walks into a Space Marine homeworld or something and goes, "Hey, you dogs, like come serve me," and they're like, "No one knows you came here, right?" It's like they're just at the end of the day they're humans, and also even if the Inquisition declares a war on Space Marine chapters, which that has happened before, Space Marine chapters are dangerous people. You know what I mean? They can make a lot of damage happen in a very short amount of time. But anyway, Inquisitors, super powerful. Inquisition, really, really, really powerful organization in the Imperium, right? So there's multiple Ordos. There's Ordo Xenos, which it specializes in hunting down aliens and understanding aliens, and all Inquisitors underneath the Ordo Xenos are specifically dedicated to figuring out how to destroy aliens. Ordo Malleus is the Chaos division, warp, all that stuff. So the Grey Knights would be officially attached to the Ordo Malleus, and they would be the Inquisition's official secret Space Marine chapter. So they would begin operating, and they would be essentially operating as normal until something called the War of the Beast, which the War of the Beast was a huge invasion by orcs with the Imperium. It's a whole thing. And there's a person named Kirill Cinderman, now Inquisitor Veritas, who had survived over 1,500 years. He would keep the sole knowledge of the Grey Knight's existence for centuries, so he was one of the people there at the founding. And he was basically the only person who knew that the Grey Knights existed for several centuries. The Grey Knights were deliberately withheld from the War of the Beast to keep them secret, and Cinderman would pass access to Titan to the Inquisitor Wynand before his death. So you gotta imagine that the knowledge of them are passed on from like big person to big person and kept extremely secret. So Wynand would be the only person to know before what's his face died, Cinderman, and discussions would reach the formal split of the Inquisition. This is the point where the Inquisition is split into the Ordo Xenos and the Ordo Malleus, and the Grey Knights would detach from the rest of the Inquisition to only operate with the Malleus. Wynand would later die after helping overthrow a High Lord, which was abusing his powers in the Imperium. That doesn't really matter. That's just a brief thing where kind of describing to you where the Grey Knights would split from the rest of the Inquisition and why the Inquisition was split into multiple pieces.
Okay.
I'm gonna take a quick pause. So I lied a little bit. There's a little bit of like 40k history in here, but I just wanted to add a little bit of more involvement because the Grey Knight like section on Lexiconum, like the history section on Lexiconum and Wiki and everything, they're pretty short, because you gotta imagine this is a very secretive organization, and Grey Knights in lore, the way they're written, everything's very mysterious. You don't know every little thing that they've done forever, because other Space Marine chapters, when they accomplish something, they'll tell everyone, and like it's in our books and it's celebrated on our home planets and et cetera, et cetera. No one knows about the Grey Knights. Barely anybody knows that they exist, and if you saw them, you didn't. you know what I mean?
Just imagine you just like hanging out there, just chilling outside.
Yeah.
Oh, was that? What was that? Nothing.
Normal Space Marines.
I thought I saw gray.
Why wasn't there any symbols on it?
Nothing.
There's a lot of lore the thing about Grey Knight lore that people debate about a lot on whether or not it's good is because there's a lot of old Grey Knight lore that wasn't written really well, and it was just written by edgelords, so like there's a lot of lore where Grey Knights, how do I say this? So there was a
sorry.
Okay, but anyway, there was old Grey Knights lore that suggested that Grey Knights had to kill anybody who saw them, right? So there was some, frankly, just really badly written stuff, right? Where the Grey Knights would save a planet from a demon invasion and then blow the planet up because people saw them. And it's like, that doesn't... Why? You know what I mean? Like, huh?
What's the whole point of...
There's been subtle retconning here and there, of like, Grey Knights just not mentioning that they're demon killer, or like not talking about themselves and disappearing, you know what I mean? Like almost like a ghostly Space Marine chapter, you know? That's a lot better written lore than having to kill anybody who ever sees you ever. Like that's just stupid, you know? Because like think about it logically, you can only fight on so many planets before you're just killing the entire fucking Imperium. You know what I mean? Like what is the point of deploying you if every time we deploy you we have to kill billions of people? You know, like that doesn't make any sense, you know? So that kind of lore has been retconned slowly but surely, you know, or subtly, which thank God, because that's so stupidly written. Grey Knights can be the dumbest written chapter ever, or they can be the coolest written chapter ever. It really just depends on the author, you know. But thankfully, they're starting to get it under control a lot more now. A lot of the lore that people reference when they try and make fun of Grey Knights is also, again, really old stuff. That's just like, this isn't up to date anymore. This isn't canon. But anyway. There was a first war of Armageddon. Do you remember Hell's Reach? Grimaldus holding the wave against the orcs. So this planet gets raided all the fucking time. Like the worst wars ever that you could possibly imagine happen here. And the first war for Armageddon, which happened in the year of 444 in the 41st millennium, there would be a massive demonic invasion, like unbelievably huge.
They just like move out. Nobody should live there anymore.
So I should have described this a little bit in the way that chapters organize themselves, but I'll use the normal Space Marine chapter to make it really simple. So there's the chapter, right? And then in every chapter, there are...
Yes, ma'am?
What are they... My brain's... I'm so tired right now. What do they call them? Chapters are divided into 10 companies. Holy shit. So there's 10 companies, right? Each company usually having 100 plus Marines, and each company specializes in something a little bit more than the rest of the companies. There's a company made up of the veterans, the oldest Space Marines, the best of the best, right? Then there's a company made up of the guys who fly the planes and the guys who are better at tanks, right? Every company has a little bit of everything, but they usually have a specialty, you know? So like this company has more tanks than the rest of them. You get what I'm saying? This company has the veterans, etc., etc.
Sorry, the sugar crush is coming down.
Hey, just stick with me.
Okay. We didn't even drink that much.
I know, no, the drink is fucking with me too. Like I actually need a detox. But anyway, Grey Knights organize themselves into brotherhoods because it sounds cooler. And so a full Grey Knight Terminator brotherhood. Have I told you about Terminators? Thick Space Marines, special armor, really, really, really specialized, very important and valuable. An entire brotherhood's worth of Terminators was there to hold back the wave of demons, which is, I can't describe to you how valuable that brotherhood is. Brother Captain Aurelian, yeah, personally banished Angron back into the warp. Yeah, so Angron was leading a portion of this demonic wave, and the Grey Knights fought their way to Angron, and this brother captain personally fought Angron and banished him back to hell. Over a dozen bloodthirsters and countless demons were destroyed, as in shattered. Like, not just banished, but shattered. You gotta imagine that, like, there's a certain point where certain demons are too powerful to be shattered because of how big their energy is, you know? So bloodthirsters being amongst the most powerful of Khorne's demons, this is a really, really big deal that they were able to shatter them. Only around, but here's the cost. Out of the entire Brotherhood, which is 100 plus Marines, 12 Grey Knights survived. Yeah. So 80 plus Grey Knights died, which is an unbelievable loss. That is some crazy shit.
I'm just gonna pretend I didn't hear that last part.
Amongst the survivors would be future Grandmasters Vorth Mordrak and Mandalus, brother captains Avern Stern, Kadan Varn, and Dark Tegvar, and Garen Crow, future Castellan of the Purifiers. Garen Crow is the guy with the sword, the demon sword, where his soul is so pure that he can wield it for hundreds of years without ever being tempted. In the aftermath, massive purges of Imperial Guard and civilians would happen because they were directly exposed to chaos and they would start going mad, demon like possessions, things like that. They were maybe not all of them were absolutely fucked, but it's such a risk that they needed to kill them, basically. So it's like a mercy killing to make sure chaos doesn't spread across the planet. Though that there were other Space Marine chapters there to help defend against the demonic invasion, this would lead to a huge conflict with a Space Marine chapter called the Space Wolves, one of the original legions. Right? So Lehman Russ's kids, they're a whole thing. One of the oldest chapters, they were there during the first founding and then split up into multiple chapters. Not many, because Space Wolves has a specific genetic curse where they can't really make other chapters very successfully. But anyway, very important chapter. This is not a small baby chapter. This is one of the big ones. This would lead to infighting between the Grey Knights and the Space Wolves. The Space Wolves would be trying to evacuate people after the invasion, and the Inquisition told them that we need to kill them all because they've been exposed to too much chaos. And the Space Wolves were like, why did we fight and die to protect these people if we're just going to kill them all? That's stupid. And the Inquisition was like, nah. And so all of a sudden the Inquisition declares war on the Space Wolves. And the Space Wolves, being pretty badass, went, fuck you. We're going to fight now. So if you want to fight us, then let's fight. We're going to get these people out of here and we're going to kill you while we're at it. And so there's a huge conflict. And the Inquisition used the Grey Knights to fight against the Space Wolves, because technically the Grey Knights are loyal to the Inquisition first, rather than anybody else, right? This would, after the whole thing is settled, the Space Wolves don't die, actually. They manage to get out of there, and they do, this is a big deal. Like, Inquisition ships were being exploded, and Space Wolves were sacrificing their lives. It was a big civil war, but, big in terms of what it means, but, it was kept contained, you know what I mean? So it didn't, split apart the Imperium. And the Inquisition would call off the war against the Space Wolves because it was costing them too much to fight the Space Wolves. And the Space Wolves were like, fuck you. You know what I mean? Try us again later, And the Grey Knights would remember this event as the months of shame because they were highly ashamed of what they did during this time. And they learned to not necessarily listen to everything the Inquisition tells them to do, So this is the turning point in lore where they would stop writing the Grey Knights so retardedly, as the little lapdogs of the Inquisition that just kill everybody, include demons or civilians, and the Grey Knights start becoming a lot cooler after this. There's other things like the early 42nd millennium where there's an event called the Noctis Aeterna and the Great Rift, where the formation of the Great Rift, the galaxy gets split in half by a lot of stuff. I'm not going to talk about it, but it creates a huge demonic invasions all over the galaxy along this split, right? So imagine there's the galaxy's like this big circle right here, right, or oval. It's split down the middle by a huge portal to hell. Remember the Eye of Terror, the Eldari? So the Eye of Terror used to be this one spot, very dangerous spot, but this one spot. And then Chaos did things to make that spot grow across the entire galaxy. Yeah, so now there's this split millions upon millions of miles wide across the whole galaxy, and it cut off one end of the galaxy from the Emperor's light, so they're in darkness now, and all the worlds are split apart, right? So it's very, very bad over here. And then over here, they're still in the Emperor's light, so they can function like normal. Okay. Right? The Grey Knights get deployed all across this split. And they led defenses during the Terran Crusade, during the Battle of Lion's Gate on Terra. Billions of Imperial citizens were killed to prevent chaos, corruption, and continued large-scale operations across the Dark Imperium. So this is a huge event for the Grey Knights, where before they were being just deployed all over the place, don't get me wrong, but this was one of the biggest things Chaos has done in a long time. So they were directly deployed to help defend certain key points, including Earth, as the demonic waves came in and portals started opening and chaos warp storms started opening all over the place. Grey Knights were sent to specifically defend Earth and the Emperor and everything, right? And then after that, they would then later be sent on the dark side of the Imperium, called the Dark Imperium, right? And they do operations over here because chaos is kind of just running loose on this end, right? And it's really hard to deal with. So the Grey Knights are being deployed over here to hunt them down and slow that as we slowly try and reconnect the dark end of the Imperium to the light. And now we're in the age of the Dark Imperium, where Grey Knights are stretched thinner than they've ever been by constant warp storms of invasions of demons all over the place. Heavy losses include multiple Grandmasters that have been lost during this age of the Dark Imperium. Many strike forces have been lost in Imperium Nihilus, the dark side, right? Karl Lord Drago, their Supreme Grandmaster at the time, was lost in the warp. And Karl Lord Drago, really, really, really powerful Grey Knight. Almost too powerful in lore sometimes. He got cursed by a demon, and he can no longer exist outside of the warp. He has to be in hell. But there's a funny thing about Khal Drago where it's written in lore that demons are terrified of Khal Drago because he's killed so many of them that they trapped him in the warp thinking that that would be like it for him and they could kill him. And he started just soloing them all. Like he was stuck on a planet with demons, just killing them all. And demons now in the warp, Khal Drago is like walking around, running around, trying to find more to kill, and they all just avoid him. They're like, "Oh, he's back! Like, let's clear out of here." And Khal Drago's just in hell, like trying to find more to kill.
He can be like chilling, and he sees like what?
He's not chilling though. So they thought sticking him in hell would kill him, but instead he's killing them in hell. So they're running away from him constantly, you know? And Khal Drago can temporarily, if he dedicates enough of his psychic power, break through to help the Grey Knights, kind of like Saint Celestine almost, right? Where he can break through hell and like fight with them and just fucking wreck house. But he can only exist outside of hell for so long. He's essentially become a demon in a way. It's not written exactly like that, but he functions in the same way that he'll get ripped back into the warp.
He can't be outside of the warp anymore. He's dependent by the warp.
Yeah, 100%. His soul is completely tied to it, so he can only rip himself out of the warp for limited amounts of time to help the Grey Knights, and then he'll be ripped right back into it. So the Grey Knights need to dedicate enough of their psychic energy, and he needs to dedicate enough of his psychic energy to create a rift that he can walk through to help them. And then he gets snapped back into it, and demons are like, "Oh shit, he's back!" So like he'll kill a demon and like banish it to the warp like in real space, and then he'll come back in the warp and like, "Hey you, ready for round 2?" And the warp's like, but anyway,
just constantly running away from him.
Yeah. So, but the thing is, so during this dark age of the Imperium, where hell is everywhere, right, and demon invasions are higher than they've ever been. Half of the chapter council, so the way that the Brotherhood's split up, there's like the elders, right? Half of their council has died during this time. Black ships have been lost, which means that they're losing more of their psychic recruitment, so it's harder to find recruits. Chronic manpower shortages are also being worsened due to the psychic awakening. So when the huge portal to hell opened up, more psychers' psychicness like awoke, and several of them went mad, died, turned to chaos. And so a lot of psychers that would be on those black ships anyway are dying or going crazy before they can even get on the black ship. So that's worsening the recruitment rate, you know? So it's getting harder and harder and harder to find psychics.
They're just going through everything.
Yeah. So they're taking extreme measures to be able to find more recruits, which includes raiding Imperial institutions and other Space Marine chapters for recruits. So this is where my brain was remembering they take other Space Marines for recruitment. Before, and probably a section that I cut out because I was saying incorrect lore, but this is where this comes from. They will literally go to other Space Marine chapters and take their own Space Marines for recruits, or like their own recruits for recruitment. You know what I mean? They'll like be looking at Space Marine recruits and they're like, "Oh, they have psychicness. This isn't for you," and they'll just take it away from them. And they will.
It's just like I just imagine like a meme whenever you see it like right now in your spaceship. What? There was the one with the Zeus. You know the guy when he pretends to be an animal.
Yeah.
And so the meme is about when the bird is looking to you a little too long.
Yeah, it's like. Exactly. That's Grey Knights. They just, like when like the weird Space Marine with no paint on his armor is like just sitting there in the corner, and you're like,
is that what I think it is? Is that a...
Who's that guy?
Why is he looking at me like that?
But this has also led to them using more exterminatus, which is the process of essentially like bombing a planet so that everything on the surface dies. And you can rebuild the planet after this, but that's very extreme measures, killing everything on the surface of the planet. That means stuff has gone really, really bad if the Imperium is using that. And Grey Knights have unfortunately had to use it a lot more in Imperium Nihilus because so many planets are chaos is spreading so fast across them that they just can't risk losing more and more and more, you know, by allowing it to spread. So they kill everything on the surface of the planet, to include Imperial citizens. So right now, due to how bad everything is going in Imperium Nihilus, the future of the Grey Knights is more uncertain than it ever has been, and they're facing the greatest challenge that they ever had.
My love. You just told me a story
of like how awesome they are, and now they're like in the shit.
Same thing with the not the blood angels, the vampire ones.
Yeah, blood angels. That's their name.
Oh, okay. With the blood angels, they were like, they finally doing something, and now they're just.
Yeah.
Eh.
Right.
Like they're going through it, and now this one's.
Yeah, they're going through it, honey. Just like that itch on your big ass head. They're really going through it.
Hey, kill me?
Hey, kill me?
Dude, did you just have a big head?
I have a much bigger head than you do. You don't actually have a big head. I have a whole melon. Right on top of my neck. But anyway, that's what I have written down for the Grey Knights right now.
Manu, can you just give me a happy story?
No. This is Warhammer, honey. I don't know what you're expecting. They're still alive. They're still fighting, you know? But, like, they're struggling right now is all. Like, there's a lot of things that are making it a lot harder for them. As of right now.
They're still fighting.
Yeah.
The worst of the worst.
Now, if we get some more books and maybe some new models, maybe something badass is going to happen for us. Games Workshop. Because usually when there's, like, a new release of models and a bunch of cool stuff going on, there's more lore, you know, to, like, introduce them and show them off, you know? And, like, I want that.
Yeah.
For Grey Knights, please.
Look at the chunky ass gun.
Yeah. Oh, that's a cool thing, too. All their bolters are built into their armor. So they don't, like, hold guns. Like, I mean, there's specific guns that they have to hold, don't get me wrong. But as for normal bolters, all of them have bolters on top of whatever else they're using because it's attached to their gauntlet, which is specifically made for Grey Knights. Other chapters don't have that.
So you're telling me
not exactly like that.
These guys are going through it.
They are going through it right now.
Day and night, they're just like, oh, do they even sleep?
Space Marines technically have a sleeping period, but like, it's different. They work different.
I see. So whenever they're needed, they're just gonna be like, oh, bless.
Yeah.
I mean, not bless, because they're going through it. Damn.
What do you think of them?
Give these guys a break.
Besides that, do you think that they're cool?
Yes, they're so cool.
What's your favorite thing about
them? Everything is literally a holy.
Yeah.
Holy Spirit.
Like every single portion of them is made to fight a demon. Like nothing is wasted. Yeah. So I think it's so cool.
They're the best of the best, and unfortunately, during the situation has come.
Yeah, during the Dark Age of the Imperium.
During the Dark Age Imperium, they're the only ones, you know.
Yeah.
They're the only ones being like, okay, there's an invasion, go.
Right. Now, it's important to mention that a lot of the wars that I told you about and everything, I'm focusing specifically on the Grey Knights and what they had to do in it. There are other chapters that assist them, but obviously no one operates at the level that Grey Knights operate to fight chaos. No one else is being so dedicated to the cause as Grey Knights are, you know? The closest thing in the Space Marine realm are, like, the Exorcists. Remember the guys who, like, let themselves get possessed to be more resistant to chaos? But, like, besides that, they're good at fighting demons, don't get me wrong, but they're not Grey Knights. You know what I mean?
The Grey Knights, the whole purpose is to fight demons. They're dedicated. The body, soul...
Now, here's an important thing to remember. The Grey Knights are attached to the Ordo Malleus, which means that they have Inquisition money behind them. So, like, it sucks right now. It really sucks right now. But they're not doomed. You know what I mean? It's just, like, it's really rough, is all. But they're not doomed. They have big boy money. And the Inquisition, the Ordo Malleus, and the people who are aware of the Grey Knights' existence, which does not include all Inquisitors, a very, very select amount of Inquisitors, if even more than one, know about the Grey Knight's existence, right? And that Inquisitor makes sure that they are funded constantly, you know, and they are always finding more recruits, despite it being more and more difficult to find recruits as time goes on.
Having the weapons being blessed.
Yeah, exactly.
Being holy.
So, the Grey Knights aren't dead. They're not dying anytime soon. They're not going to get erased from lore or anything like that. If they do, I will hunt down Games Workshop myself and complain.
Like, whichever meeting decided they should die, no, we're going after them.
Yeah, no, fuck that. But, you're gonna work ult them? Yeah, no, but I love Grey Knights. I think that they're so cool. And the second their models get updated, all my money's gone. Just instantaneously.
Imagine having $1,000. What happened?
It's gone as soon as.
I look into the mine. I was like,
You're gonna look at our account. What happened? As like just a whole stack of boxes arrives at the front door.
I think we just got robbed. Yes, honey.
Well. As I'm building the model.
these boxes. Oh, don't worry.
Don't worry about it.
In 10 years, I'll let you.
Exactly.
In 100 years, I'll let you borrow them.
But you like them?
Yes, I like them.
Awesome. Do you, off of their vibes, like, I haven't asked you this, but, like, who do you like the most out of Warhammer so far? Like, who's your favorite that we've talked about?
Have we talked about the Sisters of Battle? Like, actually fully talked about
No, we haven't fully delved into them. Well, we talked about St. Celestine, and I did give you the faction primer.
I did. That's why I remember, like, that's why I was like, I never talked about it, but then I realized, oh no. It was just, like, a little quick.
But you have learned about them. You can say Sisters of Battle. Like, 100%. They don't have to be exclusively what we covered on the podcast.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, like, what do you think so far?
Oh, the ones that we have covered?
Or the ones that you know about outside of the podcast?
Sorry. It killed me.
You burp like an orc. You know that?
It killed me?
It killed me?
Excuse me?
Answer the question.
What's the question?
What is your favorite? Like, who are your favorites in Warhammer so far? Okay, Sanguinius. Moving on. Who else? Because that's everybody's favorite. It's Sanguinius.
The orcs.
You like the orcs?
They're so funny. They're just simple minded. Like,
Yeah.
fight!
Blood Angels and orcs. Where do you think Grey Knights ranks in these?
Oh, I think because how it is, it'll be Grey Knights, Blood Angels, but yeah, I think it'll be Grey Knights because the Grey Knights are cool.
Yeah.
Besides the Blood Angels. What was his name again?
Sanguinius.
Sanguinius. It's like a.
Like, you like the Blood Angels, but, like, you love Sanguinius, but, like, does that mean that the Blood Angels are cooler than the Grey Knights?
No,
you know what I mean?
Anyways.
Like, Sanguinius is specifically cooler.
Sanguinius.
Yeah.
Sanguini.
Sanguini.
That's what it reminds me, like Winnie.
Yeah.
Sanguinius. I can't say.
Just say Sangy.
Saggy. Okay, Saggy. That even sounds weird.
You're saying saggy, like.
How do you Swaggy? Sangy? Whatever. And then there'll be the Grey Knights, because the Grey Knights blast.
Yeah.
Blast. And then we have, is either the Arcs or the Sisters of Battle?
Yeah. Well, I'll maybe, you know what? You want to make the next episode Sisters of Battle?
Yeah.
We'll talk about Sisters of Battle, then we'll talk about orcs, because all these factions are awesome. I'm gonna say all these factions are like my favorite because they all are my favorite. I do. Just stop crying. I do unironically really like all the factions in this game. And yes, I'm a Warhammer Glazer. Deal with it. Like, I just love all the factions in this game so much. But Grey Knights are one of my favorites. Like, actually. Like, I do like Grey Knights more than I like the rest of them in quite a lot of ways. But yeah.
Sanguinius.
You ready to wrap this up, baby?
Sanguinius.
You said Sanguinius more than you've said Grey Knights in the Grey Knight episode. I need you to shut up. You also ruined
your camera.
Everything's going downhill. So, final thoughts on Grey Knights. Final thoughts on Grey Knights.
They're cool. They're badasses.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is everybody in 40 gauge suffering?
Yes. Besides the orcs.
Oh, yeah, but they're simple-minded. They're like, fight.
They're having a great time. The orcs are actually the only people having a great time right now.
They're like, ooh, fight. Yippee!
Yeah.
Gotta allow them for that.
Exactly.
I hate them though. They're the reason to give my babies a hard time.
Why'd you lock in so hard?
Because like they're funny. They're funny, but they're giving the Space Marines and
yes,
the
they
other factions
they are giving everybody a very hard time.
Butt in the pain.
A pain in the butt.
And pain in the butt. A pain in the butt.
Good job, honey.
I love it. What is it?
Yeah, anyway, my final thoughts on the Grey Knights is that they're one of the coolest factions ever. They have such a specific flavor. You know, like, they're so dedicated into one thing. You know, they're like major spec into just one single flavor. And if you like it, then it's awesome. I want to finish the Grey Knight book that I have on Audible. And I want to get it physical. I want to read as much about the Grey Knights lore as I possibly can. Because I think these guys are the coolest. And I'm so excited for them to eventually get updated, maybe sometime before I die, you know, because it'll be awesome to be able to have
to be part
fresh.
of that team.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Mission in Life should be being part of that production team, and be like, we need an update, please.
You want us to infiltrate the workshop, like, employee workforce so that we can specifically get Grey Knights moving?
Yes, be like, any suggestion, guys? Yes, Grey Knights.
You know what, guys? If there are any other Grey Knights enjoyers after this podcast, or if you already knew that you like Grey Knights and came to this podcast, make sure to like, share, follow, review, positive review on podcast platforms, comment on YouTube, anything, okay? To get us more popular so that we can specifically advocate for Grey Knights.
Yes, we need to make a riot. I don't know. Grey Knights.
A protest, a Grey Knight protest. Yeah, that'll be the movement. That'll be the Shaker certified movement. If you make me president, I will get Grey Knights a new army.
Make funds for to the.
Yeah, exactly. I love you, baby.
I love you too, my love.
Is that it for the podcast?
Yeah, I had a fun time. Even though half the time I was like.
I hope that the energy I think that we did good. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
It's just that I can feel it. Like, my brain had to work a lot harder to remember things. Yes. And, like, you gotta understand, I know my Grey Knights lore, but something in that sugar has me fucked up. I think it was actually so much sugar that we're experiencing a sugar crash right now. Yes. Which is ridiculous. Like, oh my god. I haven't even... I gotta be honest, I don't think I'll be going back to that coffee shop. The quality has just gone down, and they've replaced so much stuff with just straight sugar, and it's just like, ugh, it actually has me feeling even with terrible.
The ICE bowl, when I first tried them, the ICE bowl was like I liked it. Yeah. The last two times that I got my ICE bowl, it's like a lot sweeter. I don't know if they changed the brand that they were getting the ICE bowl, but it's definitely changed, and I'm not a big fan of it.
Yeah, they're adding more sugary stuff, syrups and stuff. But yeah, anyway, see you guys.
Like I said. Thanks for listening. I mean, no. What was the